So we have guests joining us this morning as well. Before that, let me introduce my reporters who are also joining us. Prime Minister Modi, remember, will be marking this year's International Day of Yoga in Srinagar, during which he will address the gathering and also participate in a yoga session event. And this will be his first visit to Jammu and Kashmir since taking charge as the Prime Minister for the third consecutive term. The theme for this year's International Day of Yoga, celebrated annually on the 21st of June, is Yoga for Self and Society. The 10th International Day of Yoga event will be held at the Kashmir International Conference Centre in Srinagar. The Prime Minister, along with over 7,000 participants, slated to perform yoga on the banks of the picturesque Dal Lake to mark the International Yoga Day. Over the past 3 days, the participants have also received training in the yogasanas that the Prime Minister will be performing. But the festivities extend far beyond Kashmir. Cities across India will also witness yoga sessions in public parks, community centres and even iconic landmarks. Union ministers and other lawmakers will also be attending various yoga events being held across India. The BJP top brass has instructed the cadre to also hold yoga events in several locations at their mandals as well. Let's go across to our reporters joining us this morning. We have Pradeep Datta, who is joining us live. He will be bringing us updates from Jammu. We have Yavar, who is joining us live from the Dal Lake, where the Prime Minister is going to be performing yoga. We have Karishma joining us. We have Adib joining us. We have Amandeep also joining us on the broadcast. So we're going to be going across, getting you updates from all of these locations. Let me begin with Yavar. Yavar, a lot of excitement on the ground. What's happening there? The Prime Minister is going to be there. This is his first visit to Jammu and Kashmir after his third historic term. And Yoga Day has always been special. We understand that over the last few days as well, the participants have also been given training in the yogasanas.
Well, exactly. This is a significant visit of the Prime Minister to the Union Territory, and especially when it comes to the International Yoga Day. He will be at the SKICC Srinagar on the banks of Dal Lake, where around 7,000 people will accompany him in the yoga session. Now, since the morning, the roads leading to the SKICC have been completely sealed, and in the other parts of the Srinagar, from the Lal Chowk entry, there has been the hustle that has been all across witnessed due to the security reasons. And right now, as I am speaking to you, you can see that there's a heavy raining going across in the Srinagar. So somehow a good mood for the yoga as the entire country
but
is
it doesn't
witnessing.
Look like the rains are going to deter the enthusiastic yogis, isn't it? Yavar, stay with us. We'll come back to you in just a moment. Adib is also joining us from Lucknow, not just in Dal Lake, but there are several locations across the country, Adib, where special programs will be organized. What's expected in Lucknow?
Well, definitely, Pratibha. You can see in the visuals right behind me is the historic residency of Lucknow, and you can see a large number of people have gathered here. You can just in the visuals you can see the enthusiasm which people have for the International Yoga Day, and they have gathered here early in the morning since 5 a.m. All the people have been coming. They are sitting on their yoga mats and performing. Some of them are performing yoga before the actual commencement of the Yoga Day. We will have Uttar Pradesh Deputy Chief Minister Brajesh Pathak, who will be coming shortly over here, and he will be leading the Yoga Day session here in Lucknow with all these people. Remember, it's the 10th International Yoga Day, and Uttar Pradesh has been leading with an example where thousands of people participate in Yoga Day festivity on this very particular day.
Okay, all right. So there the program seems to have already begun. Stay with us. Let's also introduce a very esteemed guest joining us this morning, Ira Trivedi, author and yoga acharya, joining us. Thank you so much and a very good morning to you. Ms. Ira Trivedi, yoga has been such an important and a very, very significant form. Before I go to that, very quickly, I want to go across to Pradeep as well, who's joining us on the significance of the event of the Prime Minister. Pradeep, the Prime Minister's focus and his visit to Jammu and Kashmir had to have the International Yoga Day in Srinagar is extremely significant. The Prime Minister, of course, has made sure over the last few years visiting several locations. But this location in Srinagar in particular is going to be very, very significant, not just for Yoga Day, but also for the policies that the Modi government stands for.
योगा करते समय या आसन करते समय Yes, you're absolutely right. At a time when we have seen that there has been back-to-back terror attack, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi choosing banks of Dal Lake to perform several asanas of the yoga, that's also going to generate confidence among the people, and not only that, that's also going to give fillip to tourism industry and give boom to economy also here in this region. Because we have seen that in recent past, the terrorists have tried to make their presence felt in Jammu and Kashmir region. So Prime Minister decided that this time, one, that he will be thanking people of Jammu and Kashmir for keeping the tryst with the democracy. So that's why he decided to come out to this place. The second, that Prime Minister decided that he will be performing a yoga. But here right now, I am here with the CRPF personnel because they have also played a very important role when it comes to ensuring peace and normalcy in the region, because this is the largest counter-terror force, and one can very well understand the kind of the stress they are going through in their day-to-day life. Let me speak to them and find out how important. कैसा लग रहा है आज कश्मीर में प्रधानमंत्री योगा परफॉर्म करेंगे और आपको कितना लगता है इम्पोर्टेंट रहता है?
ये तो बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि इंटरनेशनल योगा डे जो हमारा प्रधानमंत्री शुरू किया था, भारत से ही शुरू हुआ था इंटरनेशनल में, इसी में करने से शरीर को बहुत ही अच्छा होता है और जो कि सारा देश में सारी जगह में बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट है.
So they are saying it's very important that Prime Minister coming out to this place because yoga is very important, because it was in 2014 when Prime Minister for the first time discussed with the international community at United Nations address, and we have seen that how 177 countries gave a nod to it. Let me speak to some more people here. कितना important है योगा आपकी जिंदगी में? स्ट्रेस पड़ा रहता है, कितनी ड्यूटी आवर्स होते हैं उसके बाद?
योगा सर बहुत अच्छा है, योगा करना चाहिए जिससे मानसिक संतुलन, शारीरिक संतुलन सब कुछ ही अच्छा होता है. ये हर साल जिससे कंटिन्यू बना रहना चाहिए सर, ये बहुत ही अच्छा था.
So it's not about a day. What he is saying that we should perform yoga almost every day. It should become a part and parcel of our life. There are more people also with us. कितना अच्छा लग रहा है आज आपको जब प्रधानमंत्री डल के किनारे पर योगा परफॉर्म करेंगे और आप यहाँ पे कर रहे हैं? कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है
ये? हमारे देश के लिए बहुत ही सौभाग्य की बात है कि हमारे जो माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी हैं हमारे JNK में डल झील पे आज योगा दिवस पे आ रहे हैं. और अच्छा तो ये है कि बहुत अच्छा है, शारीरिक रूप से और स्वास्थ्य के लिए बहुत अच्छी चीज़ होती है. और ये हमें गौरव है कि ये योगा जो 21 जून को यहाँ पर बनाया गया है, ये अंतर्राष्ट्रीय दिवस के रूप में बना है. ये मतलब पूरे वर्ल्ड में इसको माना गया है और मुझे बहुत खुशी है.
So something what started in India, now it is gaining popularity and momentum in different parts of the world. We have seen that how different countries are performing. It was because of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He was able to tell the world that how important is yoga. It is not about the physical well-being, but it's also about the societal harmony. Look at what is really importance of the yoga is that it's all about inclusivity. You can see people from different walks of life, different regions, different faiths sitting together performing yoga. So you can understand the importance of this. That's one of the reasons that Prime Minister this time chose Jammu and Kashmir, and especially the Kashmir Valley. While he will be performing asana, it is going to attract people. It's going to send a message loud and clear. Come out to Kashmir Valley. And it's also going to demolish Pakistan for propaganda that all is not well. Because Pakistan is completely rattled ever since we have seen that large number of people came out to vote during the Lok Sabha election. That's what actually Prime Minister said during yesterday's address also. He said he wanted to come in person and thank people of Jammu and Kashmir. But unfortunately, some of the opposition party leaders were not even appreciative of that. Look at this young CRPF personnel, because they are the one who are facing bullets every day. They are the one who are trying to ensure peace and security in this region. कितना important है योगा आपके लिए इस तनाव भरी जिंदगी में?
बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है सर,
बहुत जरूरी
है सर.
लगातार करते हैं,
लगातार करते हैं सर.
एक दिन नहीं खाली.
हाँ, लगातार करना चाहिए.
So they are saying it should be the part and parcel of the life. It should not be only one day, but we should perform yoga every day, because they are the one who are leading a stressful life, and they feel it's really very significant that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is here in Jammu and Kashmir, especially in Kashmir Valley, from where he will be performing yoga and sending a message loud and clear that it is normal. Come out to this place, visit this region, and enjoy the beauty of Kashmir Valley and also hospitality of this region.
Absolutely, and we saw the huge turnout during the voting process, and we are seeing and expecting a lot of people to also turn up today for the yoga event, which is going to be very special for the country. Stay with us, Pradeep. We'll come back to you. The Prime Minister, like you mentioned, is also giving out a message, and he has transformed yoga into a tool for India's soft power. Let's introduce our guest this morning, Ira Trivedi, author and famed yoga acharya, Rahul Ishwar, activist, also joining us. A very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Ira, I want to begin with you on the significance of yoga. We were just playing out how CRPF personnel who are posted across the valley also performing yoga, being a part of the International Yoga Day. How significant would you say yoga is for people with jobs that are very stressful and also otherwise to practice it every day?
You know, I always believe that yoga is an ancient tool, ancient science, which has been handed down to us, but it is more relevant now than ever before. You know, really, it has such relevance in our modern life where there is so much toxicity in the environment, environmental pollution, diseases like COVID. So really, yoga has shown its value, its true value, with the environment getting more and more toxic in many different forms and ways. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, because of the advent of social media, all of us are always switched on. Even if we have jobs, we come back home and we're still working, we're still connected.
That's true.
You know, from the early morning to late at night, the first thing that we do is look at our WhatsApp, and we end the day looking at our WhatsApp. So because of this, there is such, there's such stress, anxiety. We get triggered so quickly. So here yoga plays a very important role. It's allowing us to connect to ourselves in a world which is forcing us to be connected to things outside of us, whether it's Netflix, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Instagram, all the time. So I do believe that yoga is more important now than ever before, And I truly hope that on this day, on International Yoga Day, all of us can take this sankalpa, that we bring in yoga in our lives. Let's just not make it about practicing today, about posting a picture on social media. Let's make it about truly bringing this practice into our lives in some form or way. And I'd also like to say that yoga is not just about, it doesn't have to be for an hour a day. It can simply be for 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It's about integrating a yogic lifestyle rather than just doing yoga as well. So I truly hope that today, on this wonderful, wonderful day, that we are celebrating across the world, not just in India, but across the world, yoga is being celebrated. I truly hope that all of us can take this sankalpa to bring in yoga into our lives.
Okay, so take this beyond just today and inculcate it in your life.
Absolutely.
Ira, can I request you to show us some of the asanas, because this is one of the most significant things that you mentioned is even when we switch off and take a break, we're constantly looking at our phone. So we're involved in it even if we don't know. We think we're taking a break, but our mind is constantly working because of the updates that we're taking. What would you suggest? No one better than you to learn. What are the poses that we can do to calm ourselves down and actually take a break? I'll come back to you in just 2 moments. Let me just go across to Karishma as well, who's joining us. Karishma, in the national capital as well, a lot of events have been planned. What's planned for the day?
Well, yes, absolutely. We are here at the Millennium Park in Sarai Kale Khan, where Minister for Minority Affairs and Parliamentary Affairs, Mr. Kiran Rijiju, is expected. And I'm just going to give you an overview. The Minister of State has already arrived here, George Kurian. Apart from that, you can see a lot of people who have gotten into positions now, because the Yoga Day event is just about to start here. There is a lot of rush here at Sarai Kale Khan in New Delhi, where the yoga event is just about to begin. Minister Kiran Rijiju is also expected to arrive shortly, and India has always been celebrating International Yoga Day June 21st with a lot of enthusiasm for the last 10 years. September 27, 2014 was when PM spoke about this idea in UN, and in December 2014 it was accepted, and since then International Day of Yoga has been celebrated, and a lot of people have been coming out year after year to celebrate this day. And PM Narendra Modi also ensuring that every year it's a different different state every year. It's a different message that he is trying to send across to ensure that everyone adopts yoga as a lifestyle, and it isn't just about doing yoga on 21st of June, but also making it about a part of their daily lives. And this year's theme is also yoga for self and society. So everyone is talking about, you know, well-being, mental well-being, physical well-being, and what better than yoga to help you with all of it.
All right. In fact, we have Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. He is addressing the Yoga Day. The participants, let's cut across.
और दूसरा है कि इस जन्म के बाद मोक्ष की प्राप्ति हो, यानी धर्म के दो हेतु भारत की ऋषि परंपरा ने हम सबको बताए और योग भी हम सबको उस परंपरा के साथ जोड़ने का कार्य करता है। याद रखिए, भारतीय मनीषा इसी बात को कहती है कि शरीर माध्यम खलु धर्म साधनम, भी पूर्ण हो सकते हैं जब ये शरीर आपका स्वस्थ हो, ये काया आपकी स्वस्थ हो। काया स्वस्थ है तो मन स्वयं ही स्वस्थ हो जाएगा। तो उन सभी साधनों को पूरा करने का माध्यम हमारे लिए सबसे अच्छा क्या है? योग है। हर उम्र के व्यक्ति के लिए अलग अलग प्रकार के योग की विधाएं, वो बालक हो, युवा हो, अधेड़ हो, बुजुर्ग हो, उन सब के लिए योग की उतनी क्रियाएं हैं, उतनी विधाएं हैं।
Minister Yogi Adityanath speaking about the significance of yoga, again giving out that message, inculcate it in your daily life. It's extremely significant. We're coming back with our live coverage. Rahul Ishwar, you know, we've spoken about the soft power as well. We'll come back with that after a very quick break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. We're talking about the significance of yoga. Today being the International Yoga Day, Prime Minister Modi is going to be performing yoga in Srinagar. We're getting you live updates of the preparations that are in place in several locations across the country. The Yoga Day events have already begun. But we're speaking about the larger picture of yoga. How you should inculcate in your life, how significant it has become for India, how it has become a diplomatic tool as well. Rahul Ishwar, activist on the broadcast with us. Very good morning to you. Rahul Ishwar, you know, we're talking about the significance of yoga, but it's very, very significant to also mention that over the last several decades, it has gained a lot of popularity in the West as well. We've seen Hollywood celebrities speak about it. It was somewhere dwindling in the country. The message that the Prime Minister is trying to give out is to ensure that, you know, people here as well perform yoga every day. More importantly, he has used it as a very, very important diplomatic tool.
Absolutely. 3 points. One, just like our mobile phone needs to be charged regularly or daily, we also need such kind of a spiritual recharge, and yoga recharges us in that way. This was our ancient system of self-recharge. PM Modi ji has rightfully crafted it into a tool of soft power and international diplomacy. And, you know, it is one of the largest vote gathering aspect of India at UN too. If my memory is right, nearly 177 nations out of 194 nations accepted the proposal, and an International Yoga Day was constituted nearly a decade ago. So it became a power of India's soft tool and, you know, our diplomacy too in a bigger way. And it was Swami Vivekananda after the 1893 at the World Parliament of Religions who took that great effort of popularizing yoga in the West in a very big way, you know, followed by many of our yogis. And it was again in Narendra, almost after 120 years, that PM took that initiative and made it a socio-spiritual aspect of our culture and civilization. And as Pratibhaji rightly said, the soft power angle of India also came in. It's a legacy that we ought to be celebrated. And one of the earliest spiritual cultural symbol of India, you know, the Pashupati symbol of Lord Shiva was in the yogic pose nearly 3,500 or 5,000 years ago, which was discovered in the Indus Valley. So it has history, it has spirituality, it has culture, it has wellness. So it's a combination, it's a coming together of so many aspects. And, you know, the youngsters needs to be inspired to it. People like Iraji can rightly inspire our youngsters so that they can come to it more and more. It can become a part of their life. And I would like to end by saying it's a way of life. Integrate yoga into us so that it can be a individual, social, spiritual, cultural, historical, heritage-based aspect of our Indian civilization.
Absolutely, and it is very, very important. We may not know it as much, but now more than ever, it's very important. So, Ira, I hand it over to you. Tell us what we should be doing. You mentioned that it's not necessary that we need to practice yoga for an entire half an hour or 1 hour. Even if we're taking a small break, we can still ensure that it calms our mind.
Absolutely, and I'd like to begin with the breath. Probably the most underrated tool that we have in our toolbox. You know, we all know that, okay, when we want to have Chinese food, which restaurant to go to, or when we have a headache, let's take an aspirin. But when we are angry or when we are frustrated, we don't really know how to come back to ourselves. When the drama of life hits us, we don't know how to come back to ourselves. In that case, the breath becomes your most important tool. That's on an emotional level, but even on a physical level, most people are not even breathing correctly. Can you imagine? After all of COVID, when I go to a class and I ask people, where are your lungs? They cannot tell me where the lungs are. And if we really begin to take deep breaths, then amazing things can happen to our body, including our spine can get more straight just by breathing correctly. So today, I'd like to just tell people the importance of pranayam and perhaps show a few important pranayam practices that are so easy, that can be done by anyone at any time, at any age. You don't need to have a very flexible body. If you have injuries, you can still do this. If you're 95 years old, you can still do this. So I just like to bring it back to the importance of breath, the importance of pranayam, which is a practice that everyone can adopt in their lives. Just the importance of taking long, slow, deep breaths, of oxygenating our bodies in the correct way, of regulating our nervous system in the right way, so that when stress, anxiety hits us, we know how to come back to our natural states, which is peace.
Okay, all right. Pranayam, we're going to come back to that very quickly. I want to take in a word from Amandeep as well, who's joining us from Chandigarh. So, Amandeep, you know, we've been speaking about how International Yoga Day has ensured that yoga practice across the world has increased. Yes, a lot of Hollywood celebrities had been speaking about it, but the Prime Minister has ensured that it has reached every corner of the world, with International Yoga Day being brought in by the UN. The Prime Minister has pushed for it, yes, but in the country as well, there seems to be a resurgence, because the BJP also ensures it's not just the Prime Minister who is going to be practicing yoga in one particular location, but there are programs that are organized across the country with maximum participation.
Well, absolutely, Pratibha, and now it has been inculcated into the everyday routine of the people of the country as well. And we are reporting from Chandigarh Rock Garden, where the yoga practice is just going to start to mark this day on the 10th anniversary of International Yoga Day. But the most important and interesting part of this event is, Pratibha, that there are the students from the Government Institute of Rehabilitation of Intellectual Disabilities. That means who are not mentally very well. They are the students, they are into the regular practice, and one you can see on the wheelchair, he is the role model of the entire group of students, and they all are into the practice of yoga every day, and every year they all are participating in the International Yoga Day with a better practicing of yoga itself. So you can see these are this row of the students. They are basically government institute students of the Institute Rehabilitation for Intellectual Disabilities, and in fact they perform every day. And one of the role model who was sitting in the wheelchair, just a few minutes from now we will be getting so many surprises when he start doing his yoga asanas on the wheelchair, and rest of the students will follow him. So this is the kind of spirit, Pratibha, in last 10 years that has been developed among the citizens of this country. And this is not only about Yoga Day that comes annually, it is into the everyday practice, and that makes them energetic, that makes them positive, and that teach them how to bring into the normal state if they go out of the mind also. So this is how the entire Yoga Day has been organized, and in fact I request my camera person to pan the camera So if I can show you, this is the iconic place of Chandigarh Rock Garden, which was created by Nek Chand and in fact from the waste material of Chandigarh. So now the 10th International Yoga Day has been marked here at this venue so that it remain always in the memories also. So Governor and Administrator of Chandigarh is speaking now. After that, immediately the yoga practice, the yoga asanas will start, and in fact we are just with the group of that mental disables who will be performing yoga in a very better way, which will give us more surprises and in fact which will give us more energy of this yoga practice.
All right.
Yes,
Amandeep, stay with us. Ira, coming back to you for what you were talking about, pranayam. You said just the breathing exercise can be a good start. So for those who have not practiced yoga or have left practicing yoga on an everyday basis, this perhaps could serve as a reminder to ensure that even if it is starting with just a few minutes, start off with this yoga practice.
Absolutely. And just, even sitting in your offices. Today is not a holiday. Today, if you have to go to work, if you have to get up, take your children to school, come back, do household work, all it takes is 5 to 10 minutes. That's all it really takes. And it's my experience personally and with so many students that I've taught that once you begin this practice and you start taking steps towards yoga, then automatically everything else will follow. Automatically, you'll increase the time of practice. You'll come to doing asanas, all of that. So the purpose is to begin. Let's start somewhere. Let's start somewhere. And what we can do is we can connect to our breath. And connecting to our breath is really our most powerful personal tool. And on this day, I would just like to tell people, take a minute, even if you are not able to come to your yoga mat, let this day inspire you and just sit with yourself and take a few long, deep breaths. Just sitting by yourself and just lengthening your breath. Try to make your breath as long and slow as possible. I'd like to also tell you something which is very interesting. Across all of humanity, any animal that has shorter breaths has a shorter lifespan. And the species that have longer breaths, slower breaths, have longer lives. Their lifespans are more. So our Vedic texts have always told us that simply by increasing the length of your breath, you can increase your lifespan. So we go to so many means today to increase our lifespan, medical treatments, so many things, it's just based around longevity. But the simplest tool for longevity is actually your breath, just coming back to your breath. So I would just like to remind everyone the importance of breathing correctly, the importance of connecting to your breath. And on this day, even if you're not able to get onto your yoga mat, even if you're not able to perform asanas, let's get inspired and let's take a few deep breaths together.
Okay, all right. So that would not require you to go to your yoga mat, so that can't be an excuse anymore. So that's a message coming in from Ira. You don't have to wait. If you say that, no, I'm too busy now, I don't have my yoga mat right now, you could wait, pause for just a few moments, start with deep breaths, and that itself is going to make you make big changes. We have Isha also joining us on the broadcast. Isha, a lot of events planned for the day. Early in the morning, in just about an hour's time now, we're also expecting the Prime Minister's event to begin in Srinagar. He's going to be performing yoga with many participants, a huge participation expected. What's happening where you're at?
A very good morning to you, Pratibha. Yes, in fact, I am at Delhi University, where we can see that this is a crowd of students that has emerged. Requesting my camera person Parshuram to pan around and show the visuals here, the number of students who have arrived, and they have come in large numbers. The chief guest here is Manoj Tiwari, the third-time BJP MP from Delhi, and it was also said that Dharmendra Pradhan was all set to arrive here, but it will be a question as to as the controversy that he is embroiled in, will he be making it or not. But Yoga Day is an important day, and the Vice Chancellor of Delhi also addressed the students, and Manoj Tiwari is all set to further address the students as well. And after some time, we will be witnessing every student here, every teacher here performing yoga as well. And in fact, this entire event is speaking about how yoga should be integrated in everyday life, and also how it speaks volumes about India's culture, and how every Indian going abroad should in fact know yoga very well. Back to you.
Okay, all right. Akanksha is also joining us from the national capital. Akanksha, this has now become a tradition over the last few years. Ever since the government has come over, the events that are being organized across the country, now almost a tradition, whether it is school students, working individuals, all taking a break for the Yoga Day event.
Well, absolutely. And currently I'm in the Civil Aviation Ministry, where Ram Mohan Naidu, who is the new Civil Aviation Minister, will perform yoga here in some time. But it's very important how India as a country and Prime Minister has taken forward yoga in the last 10 years. This year we're celebrating 10 years of yoga. Remember, in 2015 when it started, the yoga was done at Kartavya Path. That time 35,000 people had joined all across the country. But last year that number shot up to 23 crores. So this shows how yoga has been popularized by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the last 10 years. Let me show you the visuals. This is the place where the 10th International Yoga Day celebration will happen. This is Ministry of Civil Aviation, and all the ministers and the ministry officials will be performing yoga here. Okay, all right. So we'll continue going back to our reporters who will be joining us with the Yoga Day events. You're seeing the visuals on your screens. The yoga practitioners have already started. Rahul Ishwar, I just wanted to speak about the politics around the entire International Yoga Day and the yoga events. Not to speak of the politics itself, but the fact that how there should be no politics around it. Unfortunately, time and again, it gets mired into controversies. Yoga has been practiced now in over 47 Muslim countries. They've adopted it. The Prime Minister has spoken about the significance of it. The opposition mentions time and again that it is not Prime Minister Modi who started it. And yes, to their credit, Jawaharlal Nehru and Indira Gandhi were also practitioners of yoga, no doubt about it. But why mention it every single time during the International Yoga Day?
See, our Muslim brothers worldwide have accepted it. Even Saudi Arabia, even in their incorporation of the wellness, they have incorporated yoga in a big way. But unfortunately, in India, many people tend to have their own kind of politics with anything they associate with Hindu. I know that's very unfortunate. That's a different debate altogether. But at the same point of time, my request to them would be stay positive. Focus on yoga. It is better for you and it is better for our nation. It is better for anyone who can leverage the power of that yoga in a particular way and take it forward. And as you rightly said, nearly 40 plus Muslim nations have accepted it wholeheartedly. They have incorporated and integrated yoga into their system. But unfortunately, many of our people, or many of the people in India who claim themselves to be secular, who are not really, but they have their habit of denigrating or degrading or not valuing enough anything regarding our culture and heritage. That's a very unfortunate thing. As rightly said, even though I have many disagreements with Pandit Nehruji, knew yoga and he used to do it, and Indira Gandhi ji used to do it. So such positive things should be incorporated and accepted, and world over, it's a tool that is accepted by many celebrities across the world, including the Hollywood celebrities, including people from the West, including people from Islamic world. They are all seeing the benefit of it. But rather than seeing the positive of it, it's unfortunate. Some of our people who derives pleasure in denigrating our own heritage or denigrating our own history finds tool and excuses to do so. I hope they will rethink and they will also do yoga, which will be personally beneficial for them. And as a nation, our culture will be more energized and revitalized with it.
Okay, all right. I want to go across to Pradeep Datta, who is with the CRPF personnel, and there the practice had already started. Several CRPF personnel also speaking about the significance of it. And Pradeep, they were so excited, and early in the morning they went and they said that the message that the Prime Minister is giving out is very, very significant. The fact that he is visiting Srinagar, this also comes in the back of, unfortunately, a few terror incidents that have taken place, and the Prime Minister's message also being, this is safe, you can come here. Apart from that, about yoga as well, over the last few days, several participants have been given a training as well on the yogasanas that will be performed by the Prime Minister. So at the surface level, it's going to be an event that's going to take place today, but it goes much beyond that, because this is something that will stay with the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes, Pratibha, you rightly said. It's not all about just performing asanas here. The message is even bigger, because when in 90s, gun culture came out to Kashmir Valley, terrorism raised its ugly head, AK-47 that was smuggled from across the border, that tore apart fabric of composite culture, pluralism and heterogeneous culture that used to exist in Kashmir Valley. We saw that 5 lakh Kashmiri Hindus had to abandon their hearths and home. So when Pradhan Mantri is performing yoga there, he is sending a message of inclusivity. He is trying to tell them how important is composite culture. And the second thing, we have seen that recently there had been back-to-back terror attack. The terrorists were trying to send a message. They were basically trying to demolish that normalcy in Jammu and Kashmir. They were trying to say that all is not well here. Not to talk of Kashmir Valley, even Jammu is not safe. So when Pradhan Mantri is performing yoga on the banks of Dal Lake, he's trying to tell people, come out to this place, because he has got a global appeal. Obviously, when the people will see him performing, more and more tourists, not to talk of the domestic tourists, even the international tourists will be flocking to Kashmir Valley. And once they will be coming out to that place, it's going to give a flip to the economy. And it's definitely going to restore smile on the faces of Kashmir Valley. And then you know the majority of the population is Muslims. That way also a message is conveyed to the people in the world, or to those people who are trying to politicize yoga, that it is not associated with any particular faith, religion. It is all about inclusivity, people of different faith, culture today performing. And when it comes to Prime Minister, he is the one who has publicized yoga. He has made it popular. It is because of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Today you can see people in different parts of the world, they're performing yoga. Not only talking about the European countries, but look at the Muslim world. They have also embraced yoga with open arms, because they have realized how important it is. Let me speak to them. I know you are performing asana, बड़ा मुश्किल है आपसे पूछना कितना important है जो प्रधानमंत्री यहाँ पे आए हैं, और आप लोगों की जो डे टू डे लाइफ में जो योगा कितना important है.
बहुत अच्छा है हम लोगों के लिए.
लगता है कि आपको स्ट्रेस से काम हो जाता है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
I don't want to stress him more, because see, they are the CRPF Jawans of the 38th Battalion. They are the largest counter-terror force. Let me speak to one of the officers here also. क्या कहना चाहेंगे आज के दिन पे प्रधानमंत्री यहाँ पे आए हैं, कितना बड़ा पैगाम है, और CRPF के लिए खासकर जो largest counter-terror force है कितना important रहता है?
Well, मैं यही कहूँगा कि हम CRPF वाले देश की सेवा में हर जगह हैं, और इसके लिए हमें अपना मन को हमेशा स्वस्थ रखना होता है. उसके लिए हम एक्सरसाइज के साथ साथ योग का सहारा लेते हैं कि हम हमेशा स्वस्थ बने रहें.
कैसा लगता है जो प्रधानमंत्री आज कश्मीर में आए हैं, तो लोगों के साथ वो योगा परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, क्या पैगाम दे रहे हैं?
वेल, ये अमन और शांति का पैगाम है, कि भाईचारे का पैगाम है, कि ये हमारे लिए बहुत ही गर्व की बात है कि हमारे प्रधानमंत्री हमारे बीच में, हमारे जम्मू कश्मीर में आ करके लोगों के साथ पूरे विश्व में योग का अभ्यास कर रहे हैं.
So it is a pagam of brotherhood, it's a pagam of communal harmony, it is about the societal harmony, it's about the inclusivity. So it's really very important. That's one of the reasons that people here are feeling quite happy, excited, especially the CRPF personnel. They feel that somebody is here in Kashmir Valley, because he's trying to send a message loud and clear to the world. Come out to this place, enjoy hospitality of Kashmir Valley, enjoy coming out to this place, and enjoy the picturesque beauty. Because on the Dal Lake, when he'll be performing on the banks of Dal Lake, that itself will not only be a picture, but it's a big message to the world, because there are people who are trying to portray a very gloomy picture, especially after abrogation of Article 370. We have seen how things have really changed. If things have been normal, things have been better, it is because of these brave hearts, because every day they are the one who stand like a rock, they are the one who are taking bullets on their body, they are the one who are ensuring peace and prosperity. क्या कहना चाहेंगे आज के दिन पे?
सर, पहली बात ये है कि आज इंटरनेशनल योगा डे है, जो एक योग गुरु जो अपना देश बन रहा है उस तरफ अग्रसित है, और इस हमारे जो मेंटली फिजिकली जो स्ट्रेस हो वो डाउन था सर.
It is not only the Prime Minister who is leading from the front, but also India is telling a story, the story of the communal harmony to the world, and the world is embracing that story. It is not about Agni, Prithvi or missiles, but it is about the good story. The country that tells the good story is the country that is going to be the superpower, and India is already on its way to become the superpower. That's what actually each and every person here is feeling.
Yes, and you know, the message being that terror incidents will be dealt with strongly, and it will not be allowed to lull the spirit of India. And very important, Pradeep, what one of the CRPF personnel said there, peace for the mind and peace for the valley. That's going to be the message as the Prime Minister performs yoga there. To get a quick update, let's go across to Yavar. He is joining us from Srinagar, where the Prime Minister is going to be performing yoga. A lot of preparations in place. It's drizzling there as of now. Yavar, what's the situation like? And we understand the security has also been upped. Can you show us around?
Well, exactly. The security has been heightened across the main venue in the SKICC Srinagar and at the main sensitive locations of the Kashmir Valley. Right now we are at the Gantagar in the Lal Chowk Srinagar, but what poses a challenge is the bad weather condition. Now it's raining in the Srinagar and moderate rain is going to continue and persist in the Kashmir Valley for next 1 hour. The Prime Minister is scheduled to arrive at the SKICC shortly from now. He is going to take part in the yoga. Now, considerably, this is the first visit of the Prime Minister after sworn in for the third term in the country's PM. So somehow we are witnessing that this has taken place in the regions. So all of the expectations are high on the grounds. The locals, they appreciated the move. While on the other side, the political is gaining the grounds all across. And remember that this movement and this visit of the Prime Minister is significant in the other term. And this, step came in, this visit came in a light when the militant organization are trying to revive the militancy in the Kashmir Valley. Shafiq is panning you towards this location. This is the Lal Chowk, where you can see that the entire Lal Chowk is witnessing the dizzying movement. The rains are all across. There was a program that was scheduled to be held here, but due to the rains, it has been halted. There will be no program here. But yes, the program which is being commenced at the SKICC Srinagar is going to take place despite the bad weather condition. The enthusiasm is high on the pitch, and the participants, they have started arriving there. Shortly from now, we begin the understanding that the Prime Minister, along with the LG of the Union Territory, will take part in the yoga session all across amid the heightened security cover across the Srinagar city. Back to you.
Okay, all right, Yavar, thank you for joining us. We'll come back to you for those updates. Ira, while we speak about the popularity of yoga, you've seen how in the 80s and the 90s, especially, it had really picked up in the West, yes. Did you see the popularity of yoga perhaps dwindling in the country? Are you seeing a change from a few years ago to now?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's a tremendous change. Today marks the 10th year also of the International Yoga Day. It was launched 10 years ago, and I've seen this tremendous change in the past decade. When we were growing up, we always thought of yoga as something so boring, something that only our grandparents were doing, and there was never ever thought of taking up yoga as a career. But now that has changed completely. Yoga has become something really cool. Youngsters across the world are taking up to yoga. Yoga has been really rediscovered. And I really think that yoga has also been rebranded into something which is ancient but also modern, something which has immense benefits, something which can give you a good body but also give you a good mind. And testament to that is the number of people who are now deciding to be yoga teachers, who are leaving corporate jobs and taking to yoga. I really truly feel that especially for women, yoga is such a beautiful form for their own empowerment, for financial empowerment, for all of it. And this International Yoga Day's theme is women empowerment. And really, I believe that yoga is such an important tool for everyone's lives, but in particular for women, and in particular for the number of, we're seeing so many lifestyle diseases erupt in women's lives, PCOD, PCOS, infertility, and yoga can really be a solution for so many of them. So I really do feel that yoga has truly emerged because of the value that it provides in today's day and age. And there has been immense resurrection. When I was growing up, I felt like that was the time that yoga was forced upon us. We're talking about yoga being forced now, but no. And I think when we were young, but now, it doesn't feel that way at all. In fact, you can see that youngsters are just going towards yoga because it's the way that we're teaching it has become so much better. The way the communication in yoga has improved, innovation in yoga has improved. in so many forms and ways. We're also seeing, so much interesting stuff happening around yoga. And the most interesting, of course, is International Yoga Day. It's great that it's being performed in such beautiful locations across our country, in such tremendous energy that's coming together. It's truly, truly amazing. I'm here in Bombay, and in just about 10 minutes, I have to leave to get a class started here.
But, I would say it's very unfair for our viewers who would be watching because, you've been synonymous with yoga for so long. If our viewers can learn one asana from you, that's something that they would be waiting for. I can tell you that.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go. I'd like to do one asana and one pranayam today.
Okay.
That's what I'd just like to teach. So let's begin with the pranayam practice. Let's just everyone raise our right hand up and bring it into a Vishnu Mudra. Something so simple. Please, please, please join along with me as you're watching this. You have your right thumb up, your left two fingers up. This is Vishnu Mudra. Bring your elbow close to your chest. Bring the right hand on the right nostril, other two fingers on the other nostril, and simply close your right nostril and begin to breathe in slowly from the left nostril. Closing both the nostrils, bringing all the focus at the point in between your eyebrows, and slowly closing the left and breathing out through the right. Let's add a counting. So let's breathe in from the right. The left nostril is closed. Let's inhale on 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Closing both nostrils. Holding for 8 counts. And slowly, let's close the right. Exhale from the left on 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhaling from the left, the right is closed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. Bringing all the focus at the point in between your eyebrows. Feeling the energy moving up the spine, the back straight, the spine straight. Closing the left, inhaling from the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, closing both nostrils. Last hold. And slowly closing the right, exhaling from the left. And bring the hand down. And just beginning to take long, slow, deep breaths. As you inhale, the belly moves out, away from the spine. As you exhale, the belly moves towards the belly. Just trying to take longer, deeper breaths. Inhaling on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhaling on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And slowly you can rub the palms together. Bring the palms on the eyes, just giving the eyes some relief. Bring the palms on the forehead, all 10 fingers on the skull, and gently press your fingers into your skull. Press the temples with the palms. And now bring the arms down and just blink a few times, giving your eyes some eye yoga. And something so simple and so effective. Just a simple practice of Anulom Vilom Pranayam. This is the most important pranayam. It balances both sides of your brain. It really balances your nostril. Remember, this is our prefrontal cortex, the master control room. And when we are balancing our breath, we balance our mind. And when we balance our mind, we balance our lives. When we balance our lives, then everything becomes so much better.
All right, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Ira. And I hope this is a message and a video that will stay in the minds of our viewers who have been watching, not just for the day, of course, but as a practice that will stay with us through the year and over the years as well. Thank you so much, Ira. Rahul, I hope you were also practicing along with Ira as, she was... Because it's a small asana, but it's something that stays with you and it calms you down. And once you start doing it, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, you can gradually increase the time.
Absolutely. And thank you, Viraji. I come from the field of philosophy. We always keep on saying more than intellectual gymnastics, you need real practice. Sadhana, we call in our language, or we call in our Indian heritage sadhana. Yes, all the intellectual things are good. We need to, do all these things, but be deeper. There is a realm where we can connect to ourselves, and it is great. And one more thing, a policy change also is there in India. Earlier, we were only looking at infrastructure building. Right now, we are also looking at human capacity, human infrastructure building. We are investing in wellness, happiness, not only us, world over. There are happiness ministries emerging in various nations. We want such kind of a wellness aspect, and India had it for long. Our Ayush and all the kind of system were involving and investing in the human wellness. And I believe such great things, especially connecting to youth, speaking their language, inspiring them, will go a long way in inspiring India and the world.
Absolutely. And at a time when there's so much talk of the burden on the mind, mental wellness, this is going to be very, very important, which is why it's also going to be brought in education as well. Before that, I want to go across to Gajraj, who's joining us from Jaipur. We're also looking at events that are taking place across the country. It looks like because of the rains, the Prime Minister's event in Srinagar has been slightly delayed. We'll go back to Yavar for that. My colleague Pradeep Datta also performing yoga there, as you're seeing. Apart from the coverage, we are also inculcating it in our daily life. But Gajraj, what's happening in the location you're at in Jaipur as well, events being organized?
See, right now, this event is particularly joined by thousands of people, including, the Chief Minister, Deputy CM, and, the ministers, the Council of Ministers. There's too many MLAs are also here, and you can see behind me the thousands of people are, participating in the 10th International Yoga right now. And you can see the visuals that have been going on. They are being, performed yoga, and there has been a stage that has been set up, and the same, seating has been done outside this particular stadium. Also, the thousands of people have, particularly joined this session, which began 6 in the morning. And right now, all the ministers, you can see on my left is the bureaucracy, and on my right is the ministers, MLAs, and Chief Minister Bajalal Sharma. You can see in the front row, along with the Speaker of Assembly and Deputy CM Premchand Bairwa, all are here at this particular spot at SMS Stadium in Jaipur studio.
Okay, all right, Gajraj, thank you for joining us. That's the location in Jaipur, and of course across the country as well. Different events that are taking place. Ira, lastly, before we wrap up, I want to ask you, as Rahul was also pointing out, the bringing in education. Okay, we're also getting live visuals from INS Vikrant, the beautiful pictures of yoga being performed on board INS Vikrant. That's playing out on your screens. But to bring in yoga as a daily practice, my apologies. This is INS Vikramaditya. We're getting live visuals from the spot, the drone visuals, the INS Vikramaditya in the seas, and yoga being practiced there. Thousands are performing yoga. Very, very special visuals. The message, of course, being if yoga is being performed on INS Vikramaditya, you should also perform at home. We are also doing the same. Our reporters on field also practicing yoga. So ensure you practice yoga and ensure you imbibe what you're learning today in your daily life. Ira, lastly, before we wrap up, I want to ask you about the significance of also bringing yoga into education, so that from our student days, students know about yoga, the significance of yoga, and it becomes a part of daily life.
Thank you. I feel that especially in today's age where, children are born and they're exposed to smartphones. In this day and age, yoga is very, very important for the brain development, for the psychological development of children, and just to bring in more mindfulness and more attention into their lives. So attention spans are decreasing. Adults for sure, children also. You see children eating their food, looking at iPads or iPhones. They're crying, parents give them an iPhone, they're bored, they watch TV. So it's just, with the decreasing attention spans, it's more important than ever before to start introducing children to yogic techniques from a young age. Yoga that we do for children is different than what we do for adults, because children have a different bodies, different minds, different brains. But I highly encourage schools, parents to start introducing their children to yoga techniques. This will help them in all aspects of their lives. You know, there's increasing competition, exam stress. We're seeing all of this, you know, kids now who are in 4th and 5th standard are saying that we're stressed, we have exams, we have stressed, we're stressed. They're all exposed to stress now. So just imbibing these, you know, these simple breathing practices that we just did today, you know, connecting to your breath. And within seconds, we felt so good, right? Everyone who was practicing along with me could see that within seconds, this helped us. It doesn't take hours. It doesn't take more than a few minutes a day. So if we can start educating our children at a young age, they'll carry this with them and introducing them in the right way so that they are able to understand the joy of yoga. They're able to understand the bliss of yoga. They're able to understand the fun of yoga. So when they become older, they're able to take up this practice wholeheartedly and make this a form of their life.
Yes, don't see yoga as a boring routine or something that's forced upon you. It's a fun practice, as Ira pointed out, and that's something that you should keep in mind.
It's a fun practice. It's an amazing practice. I'd also like to say, you know, one last thing, that let's take yoga off the mat as well. You know, it's great to do yoga on the mat, but we have to take these values of yoga off the yoga mat. You know, yoga is not just about asana. You know, it's not just about asana. It's a lifestyle. It really is. It's a philosophy. So let's take these values. In yoga, we have Ashtanga yoga. You know, it's the yamas and the niyamas, the morals and ethics of yoga. So we have to take those off the mat and bring in, you know, cleanliness, breathe in truthfulness, bring in kindness, bring in ahimsa into our lives.
All right, important message. Thank you so much, Ira Trivedi and Rahul Ishwar, for your time. Happy International Yoga Day and namaste to you. On that note, we're slipping into a very quick break here. We'll be right back. The rolling coverage continues.